Howdy there, folks. This is Lapidary Dave, and right now I'll be doing something I've been putting off for a while. I will be polishing all of my end cuts. All of these stones are rough on one side, and flat on the other. The goal is to window the flat sides so you can see the beauty of the stone, but leave the other side rough so that it can be appreciated in its natural form, how you might find it in nature. I've been collecting these for a while. Some of these stones I got in a lot that I bought at the Albuquerque Gem Show from Coral's Creations. They slab out their own rocks. Some of these I've collected myself from various places. Some of them were gifts. Some of these are not 100% flat, like this piece of what looks like tiger's iron. It has a little bit of a swoop here. I will be going with that on the grinder. I will be using a Flatlap. First, I will be grinding with 60 grit to remove all of the saw marks. Then with 80 grit to further remove saw marks and also to remove anything that broke while being sawed and left little nubs at the end. From the 80 grit, I go to 180, I believe. All of which are hard wheels on the Flatlap. From 180, I go to 220 on the hard Flatlap. From 220, I then go to sponge pad, soft silicon carbide wheels on the Flatlap. I'll be taking all of these stones to about 1,000 grit, and then most of which will get buffed on a buffer, either with some diamond compound, some Zam, some Fabulous, or whatnot. And a few of these will be finished on the lapidary grinder. The best ones, actually. Alright, yeah. I got a lot to do. Let's get to it. Alright folks, I'm back here at the Flatlap. I'm using this Poland Spring 2.5 gallon water container to apply a drip near the center so that the whole surface of the flat is wet. For these smaller stones, this is going to be no problem, and this lap will make quick work. But for some stones that are a little too big, I have 2 or 3 of them, sometimes they can touch this middle washer. And that's no good. It's okay if it's in the section that doesn't have any diamond because I can flip it around, but if it's touching this washer or hanging over on the plastic, that's no good. I'm not going to get a uniform grind. So what I will be doing to a few stones is actually shaping the side so that it fits in there better. It'll still look natural, like a rough from like a piece of rough from the top, but it'll actually fit in my little 6-inch. Another thing I could do is I could remove this tray and work without the tray, but that is very messy, and I don't know if my computer would survive getting that wet. It sends the water everywhere. I used to use a plastic tote container with this machine inside and 8-inch wheels on this machine. The 6-inch high-tech will use 8-inch flats. It will do it, but it won't fit into this tray. I made my own. It was awesome, but I don't use this very much anymore. So I just use the trays that I have. I have a couple of these high-techs, and I just use them the way they were intended. Anyway, on to these. I'll do this first one live. You can see here, very scratchy. From the saw, it must have been going in slowly if it wasn't done by hand. I'm going to replace these scratches with my scratches. Very noisy, but efficient. All of the saw scratches are gone, and now I just have marks from my flat lap. Actually, not true. There's a little spot right here. If you can see, that still has the original saw marks. Anyway, I'm going to be grinding all of my stones to this 60 grit wheel, this flat. Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And then I'll go on to the 80, the 180, 220, then to the softs. Alright folks, finished grinding my hump off, did all of these end cuts. You see here, nice and uniform to my 60 grit flat lap wheel. She's going to polish up beautifully. This window is amazing. Took all the saw marks out of everything. A couple stones broke. This is one of them. This one was about twice its size. Excuse me, twice the size that it is now. But now I have two pieces. One or two small pieces just crumbled. I'm excited about a lot of these stones. Whatever these stones are that have the pink tourmaline in there is pretty awesome. This piece of tiger's iron actually worked ridiculously easy. Awesome. Anyway, I'm going to get some more water. I'm going to change my gloves, grab a snack, and come right back for some more grinding. Next, I'll be going to the 80 grit. It's not that big of a difference. I sure can notice it. I definitely can notice the difference between the 80 grit wheel and the 60 grit wheel. Okay, folks. Sorry for the change of scenery. It gets dark real quick here in New Mexico. I took all the deep scratches and scars out that were left behind from the slabs and trim saws that cut these end pieces. Looked more like that. And grinded the surface flat with a 60 grit. It's uniform across the whole stone. Now I'm going to replace the 60 grit scratches with 80 grit scratches. I believe this is going to be a two-part video. That 60 grit grind is my roughing out of stones. It takes a lot to take those deep scratches and scars out that were left behind from the saws and trim saws and slab saws. So now just licking the flat surfaces with the new abrasives should take less than half the amount of time that it took me to rough out and hog out these stones. So I'll get on that and then we'll take a look at them. Alright folks, that's part one. It took nearly as long as the rough grinding, but I was also taking my time, the time that these sweethearts deserve. Anyway, I'm gonna go inside, show a few of these.